From Transformers Prime Beast Hunters, we have the Target exclusive of Smokescreen versus Cindersaur. Yeah, this is going to be a short one because these guys are kind of small, but it's kind of a cool set. I picked it up at the show, and I thought it was neat, and I wasn't really collecting during the Prime era, so I've been playing catch-up a little bit, and I figured this would be a neat set to share with you guys. And they're small, but they're mighty. And I'm going to break these out of their package and go through them bit by bit, and maybe this is something you want to add to your collection. Be right back. All right, so the packaging isn't in the best shape. In fact, it feels like it might have been taped on because it fell out. But the guys are still in their plastic prisons with stuff wrapped around them, so they haven't been played with, but don't need that, or do I? I just realized I didn't have the instructions, and I looked on the box, and in the box, and in the container, and there's no instructions in here either, so we're just gonna have to figure this shit out. But it does have tech specs on the sides, which is kind of neat. But, all right, I may have to refer to the pictures. I'm very quick at throwing out boxes, but in this case, I may need to refer to it just to make sure I have the different modes correct. So we can see in here, Smokescreen is packaged in his robot mode, so let's zoom in on him. And Cindersaur is in his creature beast mode, Godzilla mode. And despite the lack of instructions, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to figure these guys out. So Smokescreen has his gun, which goes nicely into his hand, I hope. Which is not just a gun, but it has a bayonet on the bottom, so I guess that's the beast part. Cindersaur has this interesting crossbow-like thing, and I don't see where it hooks on in his beast mode. But I guess worse comes to worse for storage, we can stick it in his ass or on his tail. Yeah, not really seeing a peg for it, so I'm just gonna leave it here for now, but let's take a look at these two guys. Now, Smokescreen is obviously based on the G1, who was a deluxe size car, and Cindersaur was a Firecon in the G1 who, very simple transformation, but he shot sparks right out of his mouth until the flint, ended up wearing out, which happened quite a bit. Had a little wheel engine type thing on it. And sometimes you can find Firecons who are missing that engine entirely. But let's take a look at Smokescreen first. So he is in his robot mode. He's very small, but despite his size, he can do a full Jean-Claude Van Damme. He ends up leaning backwards a little bit, but there we go. Full Jean-Claude Van Damme. He can kick forward pretty nicely. Back, he ends up hitting the roof of the car mode, but he does a nice side kick. Doesn't really have ankle swivels, but his feet are movable, so you could kind of have him in interesting poses that way. His arms are attached interestingly to his door, so it's very easy to move them out of position. And does he have knees? Sorry, didn't mean to drop you, dude. Does not appear to have any knees. He has what looks like molded style almost knees, but they're not real. The arms are on ball joints, but they're on these weird things, so they can't really go all the way around, but you can go out, you can go to the side. He does not have elbows, and the head does not appear to turn at all. So it's a very simple, small transformer, but it's kind of cool. Not one I would meddle around with a lot. Probably put him in his robot mode on the shelf, and he will stand proudly with his gun. But as I have no instructions, I'm just gonna have to guess at the transformation, but it does look pretty simple, so it shouldn't be difficult to figure out. And there you have him in his car mode. And weapon storage, the weapon can go right on top. He's got a hole in his roof that you can attach his gun, though because it is a bayonet, it's like slightly off center. You can possibly, let me see here, attach it using a different post and the blades on top, and that looks a little better to me. In car mode, he's about 2 7/8 inches long, and let's check out his rolling. Actually, he's pretty good. Almost like a Matchbox car. The transformation is pretty simple, but he looks nice. Definitely a great homage to the original. Nice Autobot symbol on the hood, the number 38 on the doors. I'd say his vehicle mode probably better than his robot mode, just because of the weird door style arm connection thing. But the transformation is actually kind of clever because the front of the car goes down into kind of like the hips. It does feel a little fragile, and I am wondering if you can plug these arms into the wheels, kind of keep them in place, but it doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, in robot mode, he stands, if you count his wings, 3 inches tall. So there's Smokescreen, not a bad version of the character. And you can also put the gun in an alternate way so that the blade's on top, and it indeed has a handle, so you can use it like a sword. So, Smokescreen. Now, let's take a look at Cindersaur. So Cindersaur is a beast already, so he actually has some posability in his beast mode. He's got these claws that you can move up and down. You can move the legs back and forth. You can have him leaning forward. You can have him rearing up. And his face kind of looks like Godzilla from, you know, that abomination of a Matthew Broderick film. I mean, again, it would have been a very entertaining film if we knew nothing about Godzilla. But all right, let's figure out his transformation, and it doesn't look too difficult. So there he is in his robot mode, and the picture shows that claws go up on the legs. I kind of like it as is. There he is. Let's turn him around on the turntable of doom so you can see all his angles. He's actually a pretty cool looking robot, and his beast mode is actually pretty cool too. He is also about 3 inches tall, and posability wise, well, he can do a full Jean-Claude Van Damme. And again, kicking up, the thing is his face is in his feet, and it's very easy to flip out. Not like that flip out, but he can kick forward and back. It's a ball joint. He can actually kick pretty high. He can go off to the side. He doesn't have a knee per se, but you can move his head thing, so it's actually kind of like a knee. So you could put him in various poses like that, almost like a superhero landing. No twisting at the waist. Arms go all the way around, though you can lose the gun. And the head doesn't turn, but it pushes back and can come forward. So that's kind of disturbing. But you can attach the gun a number of ways. You can attach it using the post inside his arm. You can attach it to in his hand. If you want to attach it so it's more like a crossbow, you can do that. So that's kind of a neat thing, though he's not as stable if you, let's see, maybe we'll move the claws up. Let's see if he can stay for one spin of the turntable of doom. He did. So he's got kind of longish arms, and why he's carrying a Wookiee bowcaster is beyond me. But they're both kind of neat guys, and I'm sure not very expensive. I did not pay a lot for him at the con, so you can probably get him on a link that I'm going to put in the description. You can probably get this set for pretty cheap. Put a link to eBay. I think that's pretty much where you're going to have to go for this particular set. But yeah, a quick neat review acquisition I got at a toy show, which, you know, if you have local toy shows, check them out. You can find stuff like this. Not the most complex guys, not the biggest guys, but they're fun. And speaking of fun, I hope you're having fun watching these videos, as much fun as I have making them. And while you're debating over these guys, we actually have a video over here, which is another exclusive set, but it's actually 2 Bumblebees and 2 Starscreams with some interesting weapons. And we will see you next time, and if you're enjoying this stuff, please by all means subscribe, but most of all, you should have fun and good hunting.